And once you do that and customers believe that you genuinely care about them, which of course you do, it just opens up a relationship that isn't so transactional, but is more a relationship, and especially in the automotive aftermarket. Hi, I'm Sarah Mai, Managing Director here at Madre. Madre is a B2B marketing agency specifically created for the automotive aftermarket. All of the insights that I share in these videos are how our clients have increased their awareness, their revenue, and their brand in order to become some of the leading companies in their category. I hope that you find these insights valuable. Welcome to another episode of our 30-day exhibition series, and today I wanted to get into the warm-up prior to the exhibition, and this is how to use emails in order to do that. Now, we do have also a free follow-up sequence that we have completed for you guys. This may be live before or after this video, but hopefully it is linked somewhere here. So the first thing that I want to address is emails are not dead. I know, it's a shocker. It's often just that emails are done badly, and that's what we're going to try and avoid here. So hopefully by the end of this video you will be a email pro. So especially in the run up to a show, email is actually one of the best resources that you have. This isn't just to remind people that you're going, but it's actually to warm them up in the first place. So that's exactly what we're going to get into in this episode. So the aim of warming up a prospect when it comes to email before the show is first to kind of gather that interest. It could be that they know that you're coming, but maybe they don't know why they should be interested that you actually are. And it's also important that we don't just rock up to an exhibition and expect people to just come on the stand and, purchase from us. It's better if we cultivate those conversations before the exhibition, and this just kind of gives us that ramp in order to kind of drive success a lot quicker than if we were to just rock up and pray. So we're going to show you how to do this strategically. So I have notes on the screen here, and a first thing that I wanted to get into is that most emails pre-show are actually quite vague. They kind of say something like, we'll be at stand A31, come see us. So the issue with this is that this is not an email strategy, it's actually just a missed opportunity, because essentially what you've done is just create a bit more noise in their inbox, but you actually haven't given them a reason as to why they should care that you're at stand A31. So in this session, I'm going to go through 3 email structures that are going to build buzz, drive bookings, and make your sales 10 times easier on the day. So what we're going to walk through is first, who to send it to. Second, what to actually write. Third, when to send these emails. And then 4, how to connect that all back into the V8 CRM or your offer. You can also do this with another CRM like HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever you're working with, so don't worry. Okay, so let's get into it. So step 1 is to define your audience, and a lot of people skip this step in every marketing campaign, and it's the bane of my life, and I pray. Of course, you would never do that. You'd never do that to me. So the first thing we're going to do is define our audience. And before we write a word, we definitely want to start here, because the issue is with not defining your audience is you start talking to no one. For example, how you speak to a customer that wants an ADAS kit versus one that wants training on that ADAS kit is completely different. One may be experienced in ADAS, one knows nothing. So the language is going to be different. So it's vitally important that we know who we're speaking to. Okay, so inside your CRM, you're probably going to have a few groups of people. You'll have your current customers, you'll have prospects, you'll have people that maybe have downloaded something like an ebook or a lead magnet that you've put out, or you might have newsletter subscribers. If you do have all of your contacts segmented into, or not segmented, into just one big list that you don't actually know which one's which, please segment it. This is going to make it a lot easier just in future. So I know that is a manual task, I know that is effort, but it's going to pay off in the long run and help you convert with email. So segment it before you move on to the next step. Now, the main thing here is that each of these groups that we've just categorized are going to respond differently to your email campaign. So for example, Your existing customers, they might be more interested in product updates or exclusive previews. They're more engaged with your content and your product. So for your prospects, they're likely to be more offer driven. They're waiting for that thing to come into their inbox that allows them to get that 25% off to quickly convert. Make it more of a no-brainer than what they're currently umming and ahhing about. Then for your newsletter subscribers, you might want more education or awareness pieces. They respond differently to different emails. So that's why it's so important to segment your audience. Now, what you don't want to do is over-engineer this, but even kind of basic tags inside your CRM do make a difference in order to segment this a lot easier. Then what you want to do is tie each segment to a slightly different version of your offer if you can. And the reason for this is that, like I mentioned, the prospects might want a specific offer that kind of makes it a no-brainer, whereas your current customers, maybe they want an additional piece of value, or maybe they just need the insider knowledge of what gap that's going to close in order for them to actually want to purchase. So you want to set them up so that it's more relevant. Okay, so once you've segmented your audience and now you've got it all pretty, it's looking great, you're going into step 2, which is to structure your sequence. So what I wanted to do was look at this sequence, and we're going to keep it kind of simple with just 3 core emails here. So we want to space these out over 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the event. So email 1 is going to be what we call the announcement. And this is where we're essentially saying that you are exhibiting to give context to the rest of the emails that come. But you want to kind of do this with more intention. So the subject line should be clear and direct. So some examples I've got here are see you at event, we're exhibiting. So this should say, see you at Automechanika, we're exhibiting. Another one could say, big news, we'll be at the show. So inside this email, what I want you to write is what you're exhibiting, where, so what's your stand number, the date and location, and then why it matters. So are you launching something? Are you offering something exclusive? And the reason that this is so important is that when I just say, guys, we're going to be at Automechanika, it's like, great. So are you and another 500 people. Why do I care? Why is it relevant to me? That's why we've segmented it. So now you're going to tell them why it's relevant to them specifically. The next thing that I would love for you to add is some bonuses. So this could be a teaser video. This could be a link to the show landing page. We have another video on creating that landing page. Or you can mention what you're showcasing. So you want to keep this informative. You don't want it salesy. You're kind of just like planting that flag and telling them why they should be interested in your offer. And the important part here is that that's going to make them open up the rest of this email sequence. So it is important that we hit this one correctly. So I would think about your offer and why they should be interested a lot more deeply prior to writing this email. Okay, so in email 2, this is what we're going to call the offer. And this is supposed to be a value exchange. It's quite an important one. So subject line ideas here might be claim a free strategy session at Automechanika, or want to win X, only available at the show. So in the body, what we're going to put is, what is the actual offer? Is it a discount? Is it a free trial? Is it a workshop? Is it a giveaway? So we do have a video on how to create an offer. So feel free to go there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is, how do they get it? Do they book a meeting? Do they visit your stand? Do they fill in a quick form? It's really important to put a clear call to action. People want to know what you have for them and how they get it as clearly as possible. So that's what we're going to put in this email. And then the third thing that we're going to do, is why now? You want to add urgency. So it's going to say only during the event, limited slots, live draw on day 2. The reason that we want to create urgency is, why do they have to take action at the exhibition? Why not just do it in 2 weeks' time, or now, or 3 weeks later? The reason for this is that you need to make a time-sensitive offer that makes it more relevant and kind of encourages them to take part in the exhibition. Without this, it's basically just another day of you just paying a lot to be at a stand rather than just using your standard website. So you kind of want this email to drive a clear action, and if there is one email that earns clicks, it is this one. So going on to email 3. Now, email 3 is the reminder. And this is kind of your last nudge email. So the subject line is going to be "see you next week," or it could be "last chance to pre-book before Automechanika." So you want to reiterate the offer inside this email, and you want to link to the booking page or wherever the landing page you have set up. And you want to mention anything new or time specific that has happened between now and the last email. So for example, it could be a new speaker announcement at your stand, it could be an updated giveaway, or it could be who from your team will be there. And this is kind of a tidbit because we want to know who we're speaking to on the stand, so it allows people to kind of call out and say, oh yeah, I remember I wanted to speak to him. So think of this email as kind of like a virtual follow-up. It reminds them that you are organised, that you're active, and you're kind of worth stopping for. So from there, once we've actually sent out those 3 emails, we then want to build and send it from our V8 CRM. So again, you can do this in HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever you are using. So you've got the structure, and now we just need to build it. So inside the V8 CRM, you can actually schedule these 3 emails ahead of time. So what you're going to need are, and again, this can be in your other CRM, but you're going to need a few custom fields, and that is first name, company, or location. And that's just going to personalize these emails. You don't just want to say, hey there, without the name. It just looks weird. Then from there, you want to test the subject lines. So you want to make sure that the mobile preview looks clean. You want to make sure that that subheading all makes sense, so that it's not just a load of HTML. And then you also want to test those subject lines actually work. Some recommendations that I would do is keep the paragraph short and always have one clear CTA button or link. The reason that we only have one is that when you put more than one call to action, it becomes unclear, confusing, and rather than click what's actually most relevant, they just don't click at all. So it is important that you have one call to action that is based on your goals for this exhibition. From there, you want to use tags to track clicks, opens, and who's engaging. A kind of bonus that we tend to do with our specific list is that based on activity, we then put in conditional logic, which is just a fancy way of saying that if they've done that, then send this email instead of that one. So that could be a top tip, that if they are engaging in a certain way, you can send up more follow-ups that are more relevant based on their activity. If you are linking to a landing page, you want to make sure that it also loads quickly and that it's built for mobile, because most people are going to be checking this on mobile. Whether you're B2B or not, everybody's on their phone, okay? So step 4 is then we want to connect the automation and the follow-up. So this is where the smart part happens, if I do say so myself. And that's if someone clicks on your booking link or downloads something pre-show, what you can do is tag them as engaged and then the event. So let's say Automechanika, for example. Then you can trigger a follow-up email that has more detail or a calendar link. So like I mentioned, this is similar to the conditional logic, but essentially what you are doing is based on their activity, you are tagging them, you are filtering them to differentiate them to the rest of your list. What you want to then do is, so you've triggered the follow-up email with more detail or a calendar link, and then you want to add them to a warm lead list for your sales team to actually reference during the event. So this can literally be just a piece of paper at the beginning of the event, drilling down who's definitely going to come by. So this just allows you to kind of make the conversation a continuation from the pre-show into the show. So this is really important and just a way to personalize. And once you do that and customers believe that you genuinely care about them, which of course you do, it just opens up a relationship that isn't so transactional, but is more a relationship. And especially in the automotive aftermarket, it is important that we build up those relationships. Brilliant. So once we have done that and your team knows them before the show even starts, they've warmed them up, they know who's interested, You can then send those lists out daily actually via the V8 mobile app or a dashboard, but again, it can be a printout. Okay, I have done this in a time-sensitive manner this episode because I wanted to give you this value as quickly and as efficiently as possible, but I do have some bonuses to wrap up, which is if you do want to get a step further, I've got a list here for you. So the first thing that I would do is set up an autoresponder for someone that fills in a booking form or a lead form. So this could say something like, thanks, we'll see you at the stand, bring this email to claim your offer. I would then also do some follow-ups a week before, 72 hours, 24 hours, and then maybe 2 or 1 hour before. This could also be something like, hey, by the way, we actually have this swag bag for you at the stand. It just gets people into the stand because, you know, you're going to have a lot of no-shows, and we want to make sure that we're putting things in place pre-show so that we get most people to the stand that have said they will. The second thing that I've got for you is you want to add a UTM tag to your links to track email traffic versus, say, social or paid. The reason for this is that you actually want stats that back up if this sequence even worked, and then you can tell me that it did. But if not, then it means that you need to tweak it and you need to figure out which channel is most effective pre-show. Just for clarification, UTM tag is literally just a few things after a URL that says what campaign it was and then what the source was, so that you can actually track it accurately. In the V8 CRM, you can just toggle this on and it does it automatically for you. So the third thing that I've got for you is you want to use this campaign again for your next event. So just update the date, offer, and subject lines. And the reason that I put the tracking first is because any of those tweaks that you believe that you need to do, so for example, if email 3 didn't get as much as email 2, why? Maybe there's something that you want to tweak there, so you could split test that if you wanted to. Finally, if you want help writing these, don't worry, I've got you. I have put the link to the template below. All you need to do is tweak it with your tone and your messaging so that it is more relevant and tailored to you. Any help with that, let me know. But essentially, exhibitions are not just about what happens on the actual day. It's a lot of what you do up front before the show, and emails are just a part of that. In this series, we go into how to use social, how to use content, and how to drive people to the stand before the event. So the aim of this sequence here is that you walk into the event with conversations half started. So you've built up that relationship and built up momentum that you can use to convert more sales on the day, because that is how you ultimately win at exhibitions. Now, if you're enjoying this series, we are at Automechanika on stand A98. This is our first time exhibiting for ourselves. We've done it plenty of times with clients, but it's amazing that we get to do it as Madre. So if you do want a marketing audit or just to talk about anything that I've mentioned in this series, please come by the stand and yeah, hopefully we'll see you there. I appreciate you so much for watching this video, and I will speak to you in the next one. Bye.